if I'm going to learn how to fly a plane, I don't want somebody that's written a book on flying. I want somebody that has flown a plane, not just knows the theory of flight. I think one of the most dangerous people in the world is somebody that doesn't know what they don't know. And as I went on my first appointment, not fully armed with all the information I needed, I pretty much got trounced by an IT person that was asking me questions I was not prepared to answer. And so I came back and contacted Charles, and Charles flew to South Carolina, and we went on several appointments together. But probably the most valuable thing that I got with Charles was the drive time. I was able to pick his brain, and he was able to look at my business model and tell me some things that I needed to start doing that just made perfect sense, but I would have never thought of them. The other workshops that I've entertained going to tell me that, we can train you on managed print in 3 to 4 hours. Well, I don't think it's possible. I've had several different companies call me that told me they knew all about managed print, and they were offering consultant services, and I would ask them just a couple of questions that I learned from Charles, like what level do you go in when you're offering managed print? And they would say, well, with purchasing or with IT. And I knew immediately that, based on what Charles has taught me, that those people can't make these kind of deals, and the profit's not going to be in those kind of deals. And it's one thing when somebody speaks from theory. It's another thing when they've actually done it. And there's no question that Charles has done this. He has been on the front lines of managed print for a long time. He brings that knowledge, and probably more than that, he brings the ability to communicate that in a way that you'll understand it and be able to take it and use it. He has taken me through the sequence of steps of what I needed to do in certain accounts, and it's a logical sequence of events that he maps out a game plan for you. I was real impressed with Charles's preparation, with his delivery skills. He asked really hard questions of these CFOs and was able to lay out a program that's almost irrefutable, the way he lays this out. And he asked some really hard questions of these guys and kind of held their feet to the fire, which after looking at it, I thought, well, now that's something I've never done before, but I'd like to learn how to do that. And we were in some pretty touchy situations with some pretty high-level people, and Charles didn't back off, and I was real encouraged by that. I have a lot of respect for him. He's always there when I need to get a hold of him. He answers all my questions. He shoots me emails of encouragement. All my customers responded favorably to Charles. Even though he did hold their feet to the fire, they respected him because they knew what he was saying was true. And if you can get him in front of a CFO, it'll be the best thing you've ever done. One, for watching Charles work against us, not against, but with a CFO, and you training from that. But number two, odds are you're going to get the account. He's a great coach. You can lay out a situation for him and say, now Charles, what do I say in this situation? And he'll give you the words to say. You put them in your own words. And when you do that, the people really don't have a whole lot to say after that. One of the things early on that irritated me about Charles was I would call him and I'd say, Charles, I've just run into this question on this account, and he'd say, well, tell me about the account, and I'd tell him, and he could predict the questions they were going to ask before I told him what they were, which kind of irritated me. And I was like, are you ever wrong? And so far he hadn't been. He knows what they're going to ask. He knows what the questions are. He knows what the answers are. He sees where it's going. He sees the future of managed print. And he's able to advise you of certain things you need to start looking at and doing and changing. Things to say, things not to say. That was another really valuable tool in seeing Charles work. Was he knew what to say, he knew when to say it, he knew how to say it. I'll call him and I'd say, well, Charles, I said this, and he'll tell me, don't ever say that in an account again, because when you say that, here's the response you're going to get, and the deal's going to go south on you. So knowing the minefield, knowing where the mines are, is very valuable. And his willingness to get on the phone, answer questions. I can email him, I can get a response back, I can go in on a sales call, I can go out to the truck, call him, look, Charles, this guy said this, what should I have said? Because I really didn't know what to say. And he'd just spit out an answer, and it was the perfect answer. My relationship with Charles has been a tremendously positive one. He's a great coach, he's a great mentor. He's been there and he's done it. He's put these deals together. He understands all aspects of this industry. And as a coach, he can lead you through this thing and tell you what you need to know. He's able to advise you on the next steps you need to take. Once Charles started showing me that you can capture all that business and create a pretty good residual revenue stream, it made a lot of sense. He was able to bring all those pieces together in a way that I understood it. And, I wished I had tape recorded everything that he said, because it could be a pretty darn good training tool. He's an invaluable tool, and he's somebody that I'm going to engage on a training basis to come to my business and train me. One of my bigger regrets is that number one, I didn't start managed print sooner, but number two, that I didn't meet Charles sooner. He's the kind of guy that, had I engaged him 3 years ago, there's no telling where I would be right now. He's the kind of tool that you really wish you'd had 2, 3, 4 years ago. And I'm excited to be able to endorse him and look forward to using him as a coach, as a trainer, in any way I can.